Right, it's been a minute since we've done this, but welcome back to Box Office Battles here. We are here for another episode of the series. The Marvels just released. The Five Nights at Freddy's movies is recently new. I want to talk about all of this today, okay, and their box office performances. So, we're going to start off with the Marvels, okay? So, yesterday, the Marvels made $21.5 million, which is a horrendous flop. For reference, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the last MCU movie here, it made over double that on its first day. You can see the Marvels made $21.5 million on its first day. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 made $48.1, and it only ended up with $845 million worldwide, which is good, but by this point, The Marvels is tracked to make under half of that if it keeps at the same pace as it has been, okay? This is not looking good for the Marvels, alright? Not off to a great start, only a $21 million first day. Normally, whenever a new MCU movie comes out, the box office explodes, it takes over, and I mean, yeah, there's a 100.1% increase from last week, but last week there wasn't much other than Five Nights at Freddy's, okay? So this was really not a great start for the Marvels, alright? Now, we got the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, obviously, which is actually doing pretty decently, alright? You can see that it got almost double what the Marvels got on its first day. It got $39.6 million, and it's currently at $231 million worldwide, and has just now started to drop some theaters, okay? So Five Nights at Freddy's will probably end up somewhere around the $250 to $275 million mark in my prediction, alright? Actually, maybe a little bit higher than that. Maybe go 275, 280, 290 million, okay? So, yeah, I think that that's a good estimate for Five Nights at Freddy's, and again, this opened up with almost double what the Marvels opened up with, and it's only at 231 million, which would be a huge flop for an MCU movie if the Marvels only ended up with that much. And the funniest thing is that the Marvels started with more theaters than FNAF did. But, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's doing pretty well for how much was spent on it. Alright, the Taylor Swift movie is doing okay, I guess. It's doing about on track with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, actually. But the main reason I say it's doing just okay, and then the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was doing pretty good, is because this one has dropped a lot of theaters today, alright? It's dropped about 750 theaters in one day. That's not great, alright, considering it's only been out for a little bit. Now, it's not terrible either, okay? It's still doing decent. You know, it's still getting a few $1 million every day. Probably gonna bring in about as much as the Five Nights at Freddy's movie did, alright? So overall, the Taylor Swift movie's doing okay, I guess. But it's not like a huge explosion. And then we got Killers of the Flower Moon, alright? It's currently at $127 million. Been getting a few $1 million every day. Gotten down to about $1 million every day. And its first drop, it only dropped 400 theaters, which is okay. So right now, it's honestly doing pretty good, alright? It wasn't expected to be this big thing. The budget wasn't that big. And overall, I think it's doing pretty nice, alright? That's gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.